Fire away, sir.
We're here with D of Versus Games. He opened this place up about 2 years ago. In about April or so. And can you introduce yourself to all those who don't know who you are and your establishment?
Sure, no problem. As you mentioned, my name is D. I'm the owner of Versus Games, and you're right, it's nearly been open for almost 2 years. We opened up April of 24th, a soft opening. I believe it was 2013. And then, yeah, we're coming up on our second year, I believe. So official grand opening was May 25th. So we'll be hitting that pretty soon in a couple of months, I believe. Yeah.
And how did the idea of Versus Games come about?
I get that question quite often. So it was a couple of things that happened. See, I was working in the corporate world. I was a district manager, and due to the recession and some cutbacks and downsizing, and someone had a little bit of higher seniority than me in the corporation, so my position was eliminated. So I found myself gaming more at my local game store where I lived, and I remember looking around. I was like, there should be, being from the corporate world and knowing branding and marketing and promotions, it was disheartening to see a business not do that and not really know how to do that as well, and not take advantage of the full understanding of how a business operates. And what I've noticed is a lot of game stores, a good majority of the owners or gamers first and businessmen or women second. And it was their kind of like their personal clubhouse type of situation. And so at this particular game store, I was trying to give suggestions to help increase sales. Little things there. Hey, throw a Black Friday sale. Hey, try doing this. Promotional sales to bring more people coming in. And it was just, the owner was able to do some of the stuff, but they didn't have the education or background that I did to facilitate it to its full capacity. And I remember going home and meeting up speaking with my girlfriend at the time, wife now, and saying how kind of frustrated it was that to see a business, that could do so much more with what they have and not do that. I was giving all these suggestions, and it just, it was to see it in the hands of someone not able to really facilitate it to its full potential. And Joy at the time had told me, well, why don't you just open up your own store? And then that's basically where it started. She was my inspiration right there. And the fact that I guess other stores weren't able to, focus on branding, focus on advertising and promotion and those type of things, that was a driving force for me to, see if I can't fill that void where those businesses were lacking, and see if I can't try to present a product, not just board games or accessories or magic singles, but in a form of entertainment, and sell entertainment, not just the games itself.
Not just nitty-pitty products here and there, right?
Yeah, it was entertainment we're trying to sell. So the idea is to host a party every evening. So, and I believe someone mentioned, we're not just, it has a different feel than a game store, more like a venue, because we have the events 7 days a week, and it gets pretty popular.
And can you tell us about the research and the construction of the store?
The research and construction?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, research took about a couple years to research the business. I flew around the nation interviewing both failing and successful businesses, CEOs, owners, and managers. And that was a key thing, failing businesses too as well, because I want to know what was not working. And after compiling all that information, after a couple years, I was able to piece a lot of the type of business models I want to do. Because there's a lot of game store type of business models, comic book hybrid stores, game store hybrid stores, game centers. There's all these different types. And it's like, pick which one is going to be best and fits well with what we're trying to do. And so that's kind of how the research came about. I mean, there was 2 years of research, almost maybe 3 years of research, just dealing with not just a business, but location research and things along those lines. There was a lot of stuff that we put into it. As far as construction, I mean, we did a lot of construction ourselves here too, obviously saving a lot of money, but very design-oriented, very branded, marketing a lot of the products here too as well, from the custom tables to the logos to the the color palettes for the logo or for the store colors itself. What do we want that's really going to spark and really shine out of all the other stores. We were looking for something very specific like that. So construction for the store took a little while. I mean, like 2-3 months just to get everything out of the way. But it came through kind of nice. I still wasn't able to do everything I wanted to do. I think I really touched on maybe 20% of the stuff I really wanted to do. Just came down to time and funding too. But I guarantee the next location, we will probably get to those things. I'm pretty sure, I guarantee it. So I have a pretty good idea.
So any ideas of where that next location will be?
Not yet. As soon as we finish a couple of things that we have in the works, we'll let everybody know, but we are working toward a second location and even franchising too as well.
Something like the start of a fast food chain or something like that?
Cookie cutter type of setup where because we get interviewed by, a lot of people who want to open up their businesses come to interview me and to talk to me about how do we do this, what's a good way of doing this. And I give a lot of business consultation about doing that too as well. So and there's a lot of areas that they have to work on. I mean, they don't realize sometimes they say, I had no idea it was this much work. There was a lot that I didn't consider. And so here's what I can do for them. I can help them with all that work. Franchising it makes it say, hey, I want you to be successful because that means I'm going to be successful too as well. So you're representing a brand. I'm going to give you the cookie cutter. I'm going to give you the formula. I'm going to show you. I'm going to help you get it all set up, build it up, and promote it. So I'll do everything and help them out so they're going to be a successful business too as well. So that's something that we're trying to do too, to help people, help them out with that.
Oh, I see. Anyway, how has it grown since you first opened the doors in 2013?
It's grown immensely. We outgrew this location after about 3 months of being open. So there is tons of room of expansion. Sales-wise, we've probably, going based upon projections, we're probably after year 1, that was actually probably year 3 or year 4 we were at.
So practically you got 4 years with the sales in 1 year.
Correct. What we've done in 1 year as far as branding, marketing, promoting, and building our client base, or customer base, and player base, it would usually take an average store maybe 5 to 10 years, if at all, just to get to the point where we are right now. We just kept pushing and pushing forward on everything. Sponsoring teams, sponsoring pro players, I mean, we went all out. We just keep moving forward. Haven't looked back.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just outright amazing. Anyway, can you tell us about the first stores? Can you tell us about the store's first major modern event?
To be honest, a lot of those big major modern events or legacy or standard events were a little bit of a hiccup here and there because we were still trying to figure out how to get the formula down and work it out just right, and bring in players. We've come a long ways from our elite events that we're trying to do. I believe the very first modern event that was like a very small like grinder event, low entry fee, still 100% payout on what we were doing at the time, had a very low turnout. And I think it just wasn't firing off, and I just had to cancel it. It just wasn't working out. And that was mainly because, there wasn't a lot of people that had modern in the area. So we were promoting. So we shifted to standard and EDH Commander. And what we found is a lot of people were building Commander decks, and they found out, well, they invest so much in there, and they have these modern cards and old school cards. They made it an easy step to go to modern. And so they built their modern decks. And then from there, we started growing a player base for modern itself. So we decided to reintroduce modern to come back. It did. It was huge and extremely successful. And from there, it just blew up here in SF area anyways.
I see. And what was your original perception of Legacy in this area before it was known to you?
Non-existent, probably. Pockets still, and it's still kind of a niche type of format. The players are different than standard, and they're different than modern players. Different ways of thinking, different ways of playing, obviously, but just different players in general. So, yeah, initially it was non-existent. I felt it was non-existent, and it was to an extent. I mean, a lot of players would have to travel to versus games until we started building once again our own player base of versus players too as well, which came down to starting off with the EDH, then modern, and players felt like they were so close from their modern deck to going to a legacy deck, they made the jump as well, and it happened quite often. So that's kind of how legacy was formed as well. It all came from the commander, the modern, to legacy.
How much progress have you made in networking with artists?
Quite a bit. I have an art team. I am the art director for that department too as well. I have concept artists in Poland, and I have concept artists and renderers in Texas too as well. So I work with them heavily. We have a lot of projects that we're working on. And they're also working on some of our newer stuff for our dragon events coming out this summer too as well. So we're going to be introducing a whole new line of dragons that we'll be promoting for our playmats for the summertime dragon events.
And when should everybody expect to see those new images?
Probably not for a couple months. We got some other stuff we're working on. We still have states to go through. We have city championships, and then the dragon events will probably come through. Cities should be in the summertime too as well.
I see. Anyway, how do you combat knockoffs?
Like, what do you mean knockoffs? Like fake magic cards or?
Yeah, fake magic cards.
Well, we have to get a loop, and we have to look through the cards too as well. We have to test it too as well when they come in. We know which specific type of cards will be selected to be knockoffs, so we'll take particular notice on those type of cards too as well. So we tend to really look into these cards and scrutinize them, and we ask a series of questions of where the purchaser or the seller got them from.
I see. And
do you mind if we put on hold for just 1 second?
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
1 second. Hey, buddy. Sorry that you're waiting. What can I get for you? All right. My deepest apologies.
Sure thing.
All right. What do you got for me next?
And about events requiring 100 or more people to be seated. Has it been resolved yet?
It has been resolved because I can seat 40 here comfortably. I could technically seat probably 50. I prefer to have the players to have space, so I prefer them just to keep at 40 here. And then we can seat 60 plus more people next door in the pizzeria. And they have agreed with us to this joint venture for having these type of events because it's beneficial for them too as well. They have a couple things we don't have: the extra seating, a kitchen that sells pizza, and a liquor license, which I do not have. So it works out just fine. So seating 100 players or more, not a problem anymore.
Especially the part where people can just go next door to the pizza place and have all their beer, their liquor, and all the nice stuff that other stores usually can't have, right?
That's true. We do offer those type of things. Obviously, there's a designated area where they can drink and eat too as well, because it's not obviously going to happen during a big event. You can't really have it. But we make the space for them too as well. So yes.
And has the store expanded their movie library to include other movie titles when you're showing it up on the screen?
We have, and we're starting to do a lot more digital stuff that we're bringing on strictly through streaming through Amazon. Netflix we brought on too as well, but we're bringing on like Amazon too as well, so we can bring more of the quicker releases, or newer releases a lot quicker, and not so much buy the hard copies. I don't have any place to stack that kind of stuff, so it's all digital now. But yeah, we're increasing it. I haven't got They Live yet, but I will get that. I guarantee you. It's a good movie. We'll have it on the screen. We did debut the interview too here as well. So, but yeah, not bad.
They Live is one of the greatest movies of the late 1980s, where the greatest quote originally heard from Duke Nukem to the mainstream audience in the 19th was, I have come here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
That's true. Yes, true. That was a very good scene, very memorable. Thanks for linking that too as well on the command center. But yeah.
How much has the store contributed to YMCA?
YMCA. There's actually a couple of groups that we do donations with. We do also with schools, after school programs too as well. In fact, we're working on something right now where we're going to be working with one of the YMCA directors. Until things are finalized, I don't want to say which location it is, but we are currently working with them right now. But anything more in detail, I can't really disclose that. But we do donations to schools, after school programs, and we are working with the YMCAs too as well.
Okay. We know you have been in the board game field for a long time. Can you tell us about all the awful games you have come across over the years?
I can tell you I don't carry any of those awful games. I make sure I only carry games that I like, or specifically that do really well sales-wise, or that are extremely popular. I mean, there were some really bad games that I've seen at Gamma Convention. I think someone was trying to sell me a poker version of Scrabble. And then when asked, who is his target market, he said, oh, anybody of all ages, 8 and up. So I replied, so you're going to teach 8-year-olds how to gamble. Is that correct? Oh, well, it's more resource management. Okay, so I've seen some really bad games, but I've seen some really good games too as well. I try not to remember all the bad games, but sometimes they just stick there. But there's a lot more good games than there are bad games.
So it's not like Angry Video Game Nerd, where you remember all the bad games and you're willing to talk about it.
No, just beside that one I mentioned to you, all the other games I try to push to the side.
So no Angry Video Game Nerd stuff yet?
No, not yet. Not to my knowledge yet.
Okay. And what do you think the third decade of Magic shall bring now that it has began?
Hopefully a movie. I think they got the rights going for that, so, and maybe some type of more, I mean, not that they really need to do any advertising for it, but, God forbid that Wizards, WotC, Hasbro actually pushes this product like they pushed, He-Man or G.I. Joe back in the 80s, or how currently Konami is, pushing Yu-Gi-Oh! Through cartoons and so forth. If something like that would ever really happen with Wizards, the sales would even grow higher.
So, what should they base the movie on if it were to go public?
What do you mean? I'm sorry?
What should they base the movie on if Magic movie goes public?
I mean, they gotta stick with their main characters. They gotta do something with Jace. They have to. That's their number one go-to guy. That's like Mickey Mouse at Disneyland. Jace is a representation of Wizards right now. So yeah, I probably have to base it off one of his stories. I would prefer it to be the Urza's brother, Urza Brother War. So, but give a little backstory to it because we grew up reading about all those stories during the revised set. But Jace is fine. I'll deal with that.
So no Nicol Bolas story, no.
I'm sure if they do something with Jace, they might introduce something with Nicol Bolas. They'd have to lead up to that too as well.
Or they try to tie it in somehow.
I'm sure they would eventually do a kind of a Avenger style format to make it successful. I'm sure, but
okay. And do you advocate the abolishment of the reserve list?
Oh, well, that's a touchy one. No, I don't think so. I think it should remain there just in case.
Even in light of the Delson fiasco that just happened a few months ago, high quality fakes, to the point where
I see where you're going with that. Despite that, I think stores and businesses just need to be more careful. But with the introduction of fakes, I guess it is good that Wizards possibly later in the future decide or maybe consider reprinting, but at the same time, I don't think so. I don't really think they should at this time. And everybody speculates it that they should, just in case, but it's fine where it's at. There's not a lot of buyers that are going to go out there after some of those high-end stuff too.
So until the Delson thing boils over is when they'll take it down, right?
I don't know about that. That's on them. That's on them.
Okay. Okay, and with the end of the base sets, what do you expect? What expectations do you have for Lorwyn pattern blocks?
Oh. You know what? I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. And when they announce the cancellation of the base sets, I'll be honest, I was actually fine with that too as well. Those have low participation, low numbers. They're good for the beginners, but at the same time, those sets, as they mentioned, are getting a little bit more. They're bringing back older stuff and introducing new mechanics, and it's supposed to be a set that's for beginners. I think it was a good idea for doing that. As far as how it's going to affect other sets coming in, I don't know. This is the first time they're trying it, and they're going into an environment where they don't know either. So it's kind of up for grabs to see what's going to happen. This is all just data they're trying to collect to see if it's going to work. It's the same thing that we do here. If something doesn't work, we collect the data about face and change and do something different. So we'll see.
We'll see how this Lorwyn pattern thing goes along.
Right. We'll see. See if the people like it. They're trying to give the players what they want. So.
And are you in favor of more Master Series sets?
Oh yeah. Yes. Definitely. I think they do a lot for the younger players or newer players trying to get into it and get some of the older stuff too as well.
Should it be an unlimited run?
I think it should. There should be enough going around, but obviously they don't want to keep producing it like crazy because then it will obviously hurt sometimes the value of the previous card. But then again, you don't know. It's every year Magic keeps getting stronger and stronger, and more players and more players. So there'll be more demand for the cards, regardless.
Anyway, as you were saying.
Oh yeah, so I think they keeping it limited is just fine. So.
And what should the MSRP be?
I think they marked it at $10. Concerning depending what they're producing it, they should have relatively good value if it's going to be at that price. So if they're going to make it extremely limited, then yeah, I can see that being that way.
And if it's absolute junk on the inside?
Then no, obviously no. They should definitely take it down. Excuse me 1 second.
Should these Master Series sets include new cards on the level of Conspiracy or better?
Yes, I think they should include some new cards. I definitely do. That'll give some more. Incentive. People already want them to begin with, but a couple new cards would be good. I would think it'd be a good idea.
Something like a Dak Faden level stuff.
Something would be interesting, yeah. Something that players would like that haven't seen before. So yeah.
And what does your wife do for a living?
All right. Well, no comment. That's actually a private question, so I'll keep that one.
Okay. No comment. Okay. And do you like the way tokens are distributed now than before 2007?
Yeah, I think so. They look really nice now. I definitely do. The artwork is definitely improved, so that's something that's key too as well.
Aside from somebody who offers you a bunch of goblin tokens that says, "Kill your best friend, and I'll give you these goblin tokens."
Yeah. So the artwork, I think the artwork's important for those type of cards. So yeah.
Yeah, because I remember before 2007, if you wanted official goblin tokens, you mostly had to kill your best friend just to go get them.
They were rare. I think the first goblin tokens were produced in a magazine that you could cut out of the cardboard. So, but that was way back during the Duelist magazines, if I'm correct.
Yeah, and then there were the player reward tokens.
Correct.
And with Magic League around, what do you think about the the Elliot Young memes.
The Elliot Young what?
Memes.
What do you mean by that?
He's got it in the bag. He's
Oh.
got kids of his own.
I think it's very funny. You'll see his next playmat designed based upon something like that too as well, because he's having someone design a playmat with all those things involved with it. So you'll see something. At first it was weird, and then after a while it picked up and just became part of him. So he's got in a bag. He likes to ride a horse and loves buffaloes. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So does the store plan to launch some sort of playmat around that?
No, I believe Elliot's going to do that one on his own.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Will you be including Surge Soda in your soda section once it becomes available?
Probably not. I probably won't be doing that. I'm probably not going to be carrying something like that.
That's a... Never mind. And, what do you think about the Allied Fetchlands revisions and cons? Unsblock.
I think it's a great thing. I think it was great for modern players too, and help newer players get into it as well, and not have to worry about the huge cost of the cards of trying to get into. That's a big barrier to entry, so it's a good thing that they did that.
Okay. And your intern program?
Intern program, it's sponsored by CYC and MyEap. It's the Meta Youth program. So what we do is we try to help the kids prepare them for interviewing skills, public speaking, data entry, as many things as we can, get them ready for jobs out there in the world.
Okay. And what do you think of Hasbro releasing limited Monopoly sets in France with real money in it?
I have no comment because I didn't even know about that. So good for them then. I'd like to get one of those sets myself.
And hope to get lucky.
And hope to get lucky. Yeah. I think it's a good promotion, probably. Yeah.
And what kind of future do you see for the store after 10 years has passed?
We've got a lot of plans in the work. Probably a lot more growth. A lot more growth. I don't want to just... we have a lot of opportunity to expand in different areas, so expect bigger events, bigger location, a lot more online presence, and yeah.
And before we conclude, are there any store projects you'd like to talk about?
No, not at this time. Not that I'm ready to reveal yet. Sorry.
Okay. Thanks for your time, D.
All right, thank you. All right.